So, what is your background? How did you get started with Filipino martial arts?
Filipino, the short or the long version?
Let's do the short version.
I'll try to make it short, but I started with jiu-jitsu and judo and a lot of other things.
Okay.
Did a few years Kyokushin also.
All right.
Until me and my buddy started jiu-jitsu together.
Okay.
Judo and jiu-jitsu.
And what age?
7.
7, all right.
Yeah. And then we also found out that karate is cool, so let's do that as well. And then my mom and his mom said, no, you have to pick one.
Okay.
So he picked the karate and I picked the jiu-jitsu, and then we were trained together anyway. But
okay.
So, 10 years later, me and my jiu-jitsu instructor, Uno Feldhusen, we went to Denmark and we had some jiu-jitsu friends there, and they said, okay, you should check this out. It's I think you'd like it.
Okay.
And it was a Filipino martial art camp.
Yeah.
We kind of both got hooked, and okay, we need to do this as a complement to our jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And that's how I started, 83, 84 something.
Okay.
And then for me that kind of took over by hand, but I didn't like quit jiu-jitsu and went over that. I was doing both for many years.
What did you find, what was the biggest difference between the traditional Japanese martial arts and the Filipino martial arts?
Me personally, I prefer to see commonalities, the differences.
Okay,
sure. But we found it was the drill and the flow thing, when you do some moves on a repetitive basis, and then you try to time things into that, was very compelling to us out of a jiu-jitsu perspective. And back in those days, even the club wasn't a traditional jiu-jitsu club, because we tried a lot of things, and it's not like this is the way it should be, or but does it work, or do we need to change it, or so Uno was a lot of an influence for me. Okay. When I done the karate and I started to be able to kick people in the head, and the jiu-jitsu wasn't that designed for that. So, but he was very cool with that. I really loved that, because I was sparring, and young punk.
Yeah.
And of course, we had that ego. I don't remember if I was a blue or a brown belt, and we had some sparring, and I kicked all the black belts in the head.
Okay.
Which is very little respect. You're not supposed to do that. But Uno was very cool. Oh, this is interesting. Do it again, Johan. I need to try something. And then I kicked him in the head again, and that didn't work. Let's try this one, until he figured it out. So he gave me that mindset, which I really appreciate. And but we also figured out when we started to do Kali, there were some things that we weren't well aware about in jiu-jitsu. So we found the complements for jiu-jitsu in Kali. So it was like, this is a good marriage, or whatever.
So is Kali the main Filipino martial art? Because there seems to be so many different ones.
So what's your real karate? Can you tell me that?
Right.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Do you consider yourself a Kali practitioner?
Yeah.
Or a Filipino martial arts practitioner? Or how do you define it?
Yeah, my main thing today is Kali. I would say Filipino martial arts.
Right. And how do you define Kali? What is Kali?
For me, Kali is based on principles.
Okay.
So instead of just looking for what techniques or what system you have principles, and then you're looking for applications out of those principles in as many settings as possible.
Okay.
That's my interpretation there, but and we're gonna do through some of them. But I really like the uniqueness that you have one principle. You can do that with 2 sticks, against a knife, or empty-handed, or with your cell phone, and you try to apply that principle no matter what the setting is.
I love that. And that's so smart.
Yeah, so that's my passion for it.
So you don't have to remember a million techniques, just a handful of principles.
Exactly.
And then you can apply them anywhere where they sit.
And you need to have experience to be able to apply them, of course. But that's the way I see it.
Yeah, that's a great philosophy.
Yeah,
I think. So, do you think those principles are different or unique to Kali?
No. Because the more you do martial arts, like I said, I love to see commonalities. Yeah. Of course, you can see differences, but the longer you've been training, the longer you've been practicing, you see similarities. Okay, and I see it a little bit like languages or dialects. Yeah. So if you study something, what's the core of karate? I'm not an expert, but I can see commonalities with what I do in other martial arts, and I kind of like that. Yeah. And working with other martial artists is kind of cool. So if you do something together, I'm probably going to use some karate commonalities if I find some. But
Yeah.
even if I'm not consider myself as a karate guy, but I have some experience of karate.
Yeah.
If I work with a team of handball girls, I'll try to find similarities for them to how to hit hard on the pad or something like, okay, this is your throw, this is your punch.
Same principle.
Yeah, so I like to see it like that. That's my way of teaching or looking at it. And
interesting.
I think a little bit like that in life as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good philosophy to have. What is the history of Kali? Like, how was it invented, or why does it exist?
So the trick is with Kali, because it's been because Philippines been occupied by Spaniards and Americans.
It's the same in karate. Like Okinawa was occupied by Japan.
Yeah.
And they had karate.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the same kind of idea.
Yeah. It is. But the difference is that the Spaniards burned all the books. Tried to ruin all their culture and take over by that. So it's a lot of from Chinese, Japanese, everything is documented because they're very organized. Philippines are very more chaotic, so it's very hard to say this is. Of course, there are historical references, but to say we have documentation about this, like a Japanese sword school or something, it's not like that in Philippines. So a lot of things is. I've been said. Right. As soon as I refer to that, somebody will say, no, that's not the way it is. So I don't say this is how it is. This is what I heard, this is what my masters told me. But the historical parts I know about is that 1521, the first occupation from the Spaniards who were down in Mactan, and there was a conqueror, Ferdinand Magellan, who was a Portuguese but worked for the Spanish king. And they were trying to do the first invasion, and they were met with the Filipino warriors, and there was a national hero these days, Lapu-Lapu, and they were said to be clever enough to meet them early on in the water because they have heavy armor, so they can fight them at the shore. And he killed the conqueror Ferdinand Magellan. So that's said to be the first kind of historical event of Filipino martial arts.
Right.
But then the name was said to be Pangamut.
Okay, so you mean it wasn't called Kali, it was called Pangamut?
Originally.
Okay.
I heard.
Yeah.
They say. So I don't claim to be very historical because if I say that, somebody else going to say, no, that's not how it is. And, but that's what I've been taught.
Interesting.
And later on they conquered Philippines with religion anyway and stuff like that. So that was 400 years. The Spaniards were there until the Second World War when the Americans took over for couple of years.
Oh, so then the Americans came, just like in Okinawa with the karate.
Yes, so we have similarities.
Exactly.
So that's influenced the art quite a lot.
Yeah.
But I refer to Kali, Arnis or Eskrima because it's, for me that's the same thing as you say, you have a Kyokushinkai, Wadryu, different styles of karate. But in Philippines it's dialects, so in the northern dialects they call it Arnis, and they have more influence from the Spaniards.
Okay.
Again, I don't know, but they said that harness, the protection of the Spaniards, were the name of how to beat that Arnis. So Arnis. In the northern regions. In the south regions it was said to be Kali because they were more influenced from the Moro warriors, the Muslims, connected to Indonesia. Right. And in the middle, the Visayas, all the islands in between the northern island Luzon and the southern island Mindanao, it's called Visayas, and they're said to be called Eskrima. Back in the days. So
these, I thought they were different Filipino martial arts, but you're saying they're like different dialects of the same language.
Yes, in a way.
Interesting.
Yes. And these days, most guys who's been dedicated for some years, they've been doing a little bit of everything. I've been doing Arnis, I've been doing Eskrima, so for me it's Filipino martial arts. Yeah. But some people are going to claim this is Eskrima, that's Kali, but it's a bit like to say what karate is that.
Exactly.
The similarities, but more interpretation of the dialects.
Exactly. And just like I love learning from all karate styles, you love learning the whole buffet of Filipino martial arts. And use what works, I guess.
And there's a lot of connections there, like the southern Chinese arts, like Wing Chun, Kung Fu and stuff like that. A lot of similarities to that, to Silat from Malaysia or Indonesia. So in the empty hand aspects, there's a lot of similarities there as well.
Right.
And if I've got it right, some karate styles is very similar to that as well, depending on what style it is.
This is why I'm so excited to learn from you, to see these similarities. And
please say that after.
Because I think there are some connections, historically speaking, between the Philippines and... Because I discovered some exercises when I went to the birthplace of karate, Okinawa. And then I saw those exact same exercises in the Filipino martial arts. And that's why I want to learn more, to see if there is an actual connection. And that's why I'm here, to learn from the best. So I'm super excited for this. When I was in Okinawa, I discovered the exact same exercise being practiced in 3 completely different karate styles. And this exercise, I'm just going to demonstrate it to you in thin air without an opponent and see if you recognize it. So somebody attacks me. I block the attack on his inside, right? Closed hand, open hand, doesn't matter. I scoop it around, I push it down, and I punch back. Does this look similar to something that you do?
Yes. It's called hubud.
Hubud?
Yeah.
And what is hubud?
Refer to ask to, but we can practice that as a drill. We use it in our knife defense and stick defense as well. And it's we use it also something we call 4 corners. So things is coming in at you, high or low. So we just call it 4 corners, and we just treat it like that. So it's like a pass and a check where you control it before you do your counter. So that's called hubud.
When I learned it, they said it was an arm conditioning drill to get stronger forearms. But this seems more sophisticated.
I would say it's a lot more than that. It's a lot more than that.
What would you say is the main purpose of hubud? Because it's like a flow drill.
It's like a flow drill, but that's I say it's a big misunderstanding of Filipino martial arts, because we got a lot of flow drills. And a lot of people think they figure out Filipino martial arts. Oh, I got that drill. Can you teach me another drill? And if you don't have understanding what's the purpose of it, it doesn't really make sense. But so that's a misunderstanding of Filipino martial arts. It is a little bit like with things. If you have the most things in the end are the winner, the most drills in the end are the winner. But I prefer to say that, okay, you have this drill, how much understanding can I share with you about the drill? Instead of teaching you 5 drills which you don't understand how to use, because now it doesn't make sense. And if you compare it with languages, okay, I can teach you a bunch of words, but if you don't know when to use them or not to use them, you might end up in trouble. So you need to understand, how can I use this sentence or this word, or when shouldn't I use it? And when it's functional and when it's not functional. So that's the way I see it on drills.
So can you teach me the correct way to do this drill?
To do hubud?
Okay. How do you do that?
How many days do we have? We can definitely do that.
I'm a quick learner.
Okay, perfect.
Let's start with the basics.
Yes.
Because I learned different versions in Okinawa. Some dojos did it with closed hands, others did it with open hands and grabbing, but it was the exact same pattern being repeated back and forth. So how do you do it in Kali, if we practice now?
So depending on who's a student, but I'm going to start with a reference I normally do. We're going to start with the sticks.
Sticks?
And then we're going to go to the empty hands.
So we're not going to...
If you have time, we will do the knife.
Okay, this is interesting. Because we don't even have stick fighting in karate.
No.
But so do you always start with sticks?
I wouldn't say always.
No?
Depends on who's the audience. But out of a teaching, understanding and application perspective, we normally start with weapon, and then we go to the empty hands. So that's the opposite of the most traditional Chinese and Japanese and Korean martial arts.
That's really interesting.
So, and there's many reasons for that. First of all, we want to understand how the weapon works. We also want to understand how to defend against the weapon, or how to benefit if we have a weapon, how to utilize that. And then we put the principle in empty hands. And out of methodology, we can do some things faster because the speed can be faster, but we can also start to have some hitting on the sticks instead of going on the person, so you can do more contact without having injuries if you don't have all the gear up.
So it's like a way to learn impact.
Or could also be, impact, timing, speed, flow.
Without hurting yourself, because you're hitting the stick.
We don't mind hurting the opponent, but it depends on if you want to be friends or not.
Oh, I'm so excited. Can we try that?
Of course.
Okay.
Let's get started. So, out of a Filipino martial art perspective, the biggest bag and the most sticks are the winner in the end. Just kidding. But basically, we're going to see that we're going to do one principle with this setting.
Okay.
Then we're going to do the same principle with one stick only. But that can be applied later on with a knife, cell phone, or a little bit more traditional. That could be also applied like stick, blade, long blade and short blade. We call that espada y daga. And I used to joke about it that if you want to go to jail, you can also do it with two knives. You go to jail quicker. But it's part of the art to understand, because we want to have an interpretation to the empty hands that every move is hit, stab or slash. So that's when it's good to use a knife. So even if you practice with knives, we don't want to educate people to be hitmans, but we want to have a mindset that my moves in my hands are similar or equivalent to what we do with these.
Super interesting. So I'm gonna grab a stick.
Yeah, two.
Okay.
It's more confusion when you have two instead of one, so that's why we start there.
You're testing me.
Yes, of course.
Which end is, it doesn't matter. They're both
doesn't matter.
Okay.
And the same thing there, some traditionalists is like, okay, back in the days, this was always a blade. So we trained with a stick, but it was always a blade. But now we can't treat it in a certain way. So now we're not supposed to do stick-to-stick hit because that's disrespectful to the blade. These days you have a more modern approach. My master, Grandmaster Presas and his brother, Remy Presas, they said, no, I can see it's a stick, so I'll treat it as a stick.
Yeah.
But for some more traditional masters, that's blasphemy. You can't do that.
Yeah.
We're going to treat the stick as a stick.
Okay.
And later on we're going to go more edged or sharp objects.
Are there any other ways, things I should think about so I don't mistreat this?
No, we don't have that. It's not... Filipino martial arts, we have signals of respect and everything, but we're not that formal traditional in every aspect.
No.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Some people are, but we try to have like a modern approach to it.
Okay.
But basically, I used to teach that you have like a thumb up in the beginning.
Okay.
Some styles have no, we call that punyo or a butt. Some people have a long one because we work more with this one. Some people have a shorter one because we want to have more reach.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, it's an advantage and another disadvantage, and everything can be counted, right?
Yeah.
So I'll teach you the hardest thing from the beginning, the salute.
Okay.
We do a short one, but everything in Filipino martial arts is about triangles, I would say, or almost everything.
Okay.
So even the salute is like a triangle, and that's a short version.
My right hand?
Yes. Yeah. So if your right hand is a weapon hand. So this is teach me with respect from my heart.
Okay.
And the long version, you don't have to do that, but teach me with respect from my heart. I bring in my shi. I open my third eye. Please give me knowledge.
Wow.
So now we have a base. So here's one part of the roof, here's the bottom, and here's the top.
Aha.
So that's a long salute.
So that's a triangle.
That's a triangle. Yeah. So I'm doing all of the triangle. So that's very symbolic.
So there's also kind of a fighting application when you understand those angles.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there are some styles that do even longer salutes, and back in Philippines one time I was doing a salute and I thought it was a kata. But no, it's just a salute. Oh, I misunderstood that part. But we do the short version. I like teach with respect from my heart.
And do you always say that also?
No, not loud.
Okay.
But we should know the meaning.
Yeah.
So whoever is the highest rank, if we practice together, we learn from each other.
Yeah.
Whatever. So that's a symbolic of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Teacher, teach me with respect
from my heart.
From my heart.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So let's get started. We're going to start without the footwork.
Yep.
And we're just going to have like a strike to the side of the head here.
This
yes,
way?
Yes. And I'm not going to do the dynamics of the body here right now. So we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, like that.
Okay.
It's going to be the closest hand. And then this hand from across here. Practice, stick, application hand, elbow, and then I'm good to go.
Right. So that's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So you already know this.
I recognize this.
Yeah, you already know this. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. You do it.
Okay. What do I do with the other hand?
This just stays here.
In the center line? Or?
Yeah, close to the center line.
Okay.
And yeah, I can talk a lot about that, but I'll get back to that, all right? I'll get back to that.
1, 2, 3.
And you recharge that one so it's loaded, sort of.
Here.
Yes.
I strike you.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
So you cannot get that because you've done it already in your karate. So now the benefit of the stick, in my perspective, is I can practice a little bit hitting without actually hurting you or get any injuries. So we can practice it like here, and now I can do that. So I can speed it up a little bit without and go for that.
Yes.
So now we can work on speed, for example. Of course we want that to end up in your empty hands later on.
Yeah.
Eventually it will, but of course everything takes time. But that's one perspective of doing it.
So
and here comes the chambering, because one of the reasons we do all of these sinawalis and the kapkas and everything, it's not only about where I'm striking, of course, it's about striking different things and doing different things like with my hands and stuff. But this part is one part, but what I'm charging up with is another part. Exactly like in karate, okay, do I want to be here? Do I want to be here? Do I want to be over there? And what can I do from there? When you have a sticks, you have to be a little bit more considerate, because if it's on the wrong place, it's going to be in your way.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we try to be a little bit like separated without being too far. If I'm too far, I'm opening up and expose myself. If I'm too close, I lock one from the other. But it's a tricky thing. I can't explain all of that now. We just talk about it, I mention it. But all these exercises is designed to be able to do that. But the reference is I'm a little bit crossed. Not necessarily because I choose to, but if I start from a cross position and you strike, that could be my application for it. If I would be in an open position and you strike, I would probably have another approach. So again, people start to think, why would I start there? Not because you choose to, but you happen to be there. This is how you react. Which is a different approach than just this is how we should do. No, you shouldn't. You should react if you're like that. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
So we try to do this a little bit back and forth, not with a whole lot of speed, but without stopping. All right?
I hit your stick on the third,
or
the arm.
You choose, doesn't matter. But if you want to have that contact, you can do that. But when I'm hitting it, it moves. So it's not going to be like I'm going to be there now. So that's why I'm probably going to choose the elbow.
I keep this. I need to move it all the way around somehow.
So if you drop it a little bit, instead of being here, so you drop it.
Okay. No, how do
Yes, stay there.
So I'm here. I go this way. This way.
I'll see if I can help you. I just have to figure out what you're doing, because I'm starting with a left high.
Okay. Left high.
All right. So now, so I changed my hand already.
It's much easier without the sticks, I think.
But you know how easy it will be when we get rid of them. Now we just start to add that I'm moving away a little bit.
Okay.
And when I'm done, I'm moving in. So now you step back.
I step back?
Forward. That's it, And when you're okay with that, you can start hitting that in the hand. Go for the check.
Bam, bam.
But your attitude is that it's right.
So I go inside, 1, 2.
That's a matter of how much time you have. So I can be forced to be inside.
Okay.
If I can't move, or I can choose to step back. If I have the time to do that.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Wow.
But that's your experience. Okay, when you experience, you might have choices.
Yeah.
Not experienced, you have to react to what you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops, I broke that one.
Hey, you broke it. I didn't even notice. Imagine this could be my skull. Okay.
We're not done yet, huh? There you go.
Yeah, I can feel this incredible power in these.
Yes.
They seem so light, but still,
Yeah.
I can feel like BAM! Imagine that on my hand, elbow, face. Ugh.
Yeah, it's well powered. But again, nothing is for granted.
Right.
I when sparring, we have hits on the forearm, and the forearm is kind of gone. But you also seen people take shots and no reaction. So
really?
Like everything, you can't take things for granted.
No.
Things can happen, but you can't rely that it's always going to happen.
No.
Just like somebody take a punch and you think they're going to be a knockout and they just stay there. And sometimes, oh, what happened? Why did you not?
Exactly.
Why did you fall asleep? You never know.
Yeah.
Same with the sticks.
Okay.
But it is a lot of more power because of the speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we are still on sort of long range.
Yeah.
Because we can choose to be pretty far. So we're gonna change that a little bit. In a bit. That's it. Yes, good. No, it's good.
You're used to it.
So just try to have a little bit more of a hit on the first one.
Okay.
Because if you're hitting hard and I'm just statical, this one will fire on my hand.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm leading with a little energy. That's it, yes. And of course that should be considered on the hand if you can.
Yes.
Yes. All right there?
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to make it 50% easier.
Wow.
Only one stick.
And this is easier.
It's easier now.
Okay.
But now it's not designed for this kind of strike any longer. You can do, but I don't advise it. So now we just look at it as we are closer, and this time it's more like short range, and I'm going for the temple.
Oh, like a hammer fist.
Yes, like a hammer fist, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So now when that one is there, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to do this. So my application would be like, oops, cover it, and that's my application.
Yeah.
But we're not going to do that yet because we're going to do drill.
Yes.
Yes, so drill is the format for now.
Ah, okay. Okay.
So 1, 2, 3.
I do the same.
Yes,
one. And this way or this way?
Right now you want to be there. I explain it
Here.
in a bit.
Okay.
And
Three.
3, yes.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
If you don't control my weapon, I can use it.
Ah.
So to deal with that,
Yeah.
you need to have contact with the weapon.
I see.
Because if you're not feeling that, you can
Bam.
flip it. So I try to be there. Of course you can flip the other direction, but it's a little bit longer way to go. And
Yeah,
I can
that's true.
do stuff against that.
Uh-huh.
So you want to have like, I used to say you want to have like almost like a square.
Yeah.
That's my contact, and then I'm...
And then you're controlling it this way.
Yes.
I'm used to controlling it this way.
Yes.
Can you explain this?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so that's why. So I don't know, because if you're only having the hand here,
Yeah.
and again, if this would be a back fist, I wouldn't really care that much. If
Right.
you hit me with the groin, I would be worried, but if you hit me in the stomach, empty-handed,
Yeah.
I wouldn't care. If it's
Right.
a blade, I'm very concerned. So I want to have that distance.
Ah.
And I don't want it to be able to slide above or slide underneath. But otherwise, empty-handed, the slide wouldn't be that bad because you need to generate energy.
Right.
But with a blade, you don't need to generate energy.
Exactly.
So that's dangerous. So that's why I want to make sure you can't breach this range.
Okay. I've never seen that kind of control. Interesting.
Okay, so this is something that everybody's asking about all the time. Should it be here or should it be there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always do this in
But do you have a thumb on the other side or do you
Usually
go?
not.
No.
No. Yeah.
So we have that to make sure we feel if you're going higher or lower. But the reason why I'm doing this one is because this one is high. So I want to support that, smack it.
Like a sandwich.
Yes, so if you would be higher,
yeah.
I would probably be on top and I would have my weapon underneath. So I bring them together. So I have a strong side, so it's between the hammer and the anvil.
Ouch.
Yeah, hopefully. But it's just to don't allow you to slip or pass by. That's why we have this.
Okay, I will try that. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
So I'm feeding it into that.
Yes,
hand.
exactly.
Okay.
Now I start to hear it as well. That's good. So remember to have that stick contact. And I'm giving a lot of details here now, but when you're going too much like this, I'm exposed on the center line.
Yeah.
So
keep it tight?
Yes. So I prefer to keep it a little bit tight, so when the punch is coming, I can still do something about it. So I'm kind of staying here at this range.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're further away, you have more wiggle room and more space to cover. But the tighter, the closer we get, the tighter I'll be. So you need to pop my stick.
Yeah, okay.
So if you don't pop the stick, you don't affect my hand, so I can do that.
Okay.
So you feel that now?
Yeah.
Or if I'm doing that?
No, exactly.
Yeah, so you feel that you can do stuff.
Okay, 1.
That's it, because now I will be a little bit off in energy, even if it's ever so short at the moment, but it's kind of an important moment there. All right?
Excellent.
So,
really interesting.
Here comes the fun stuff.
Okay.
So now I can start to do my block together with a hit.
Okay. So I will block and hit.
Yes. So that could be my disarm, because if you have a weapon in that hand, I'm very eager to be able to disarm it. I want to get rid of it as quick as possible. So there's many ways of doing that. Yeah?
Wow.
But we're going to do it easy first.
Okay.
So now instead of monitoring too much on my hand, I'm just going to hit it.
Okay.
So that's, like I said before, everything could be a hit, stab or a slash. So if that was something sharp, that would be a cut.
Right.
If it's more like an impact, okay, I'm hitting it.
Yeah. And the goal is to disarm me by hitting.
Disarm or distract.
Okay.
It could be like I'm distracting you to do more stuff, but it can also be that I want to weaken up the hand before I do something else there. But we would really like to get that weapon out of danger for me, so to say. So if I can disarm you, perfect, or if I can unbalance your hand so you're not fighting ready with it, or if I can distract you long enough to do something else, I'm ever so happy.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's it. And then we can start to combine it with locks and stuff. Okay. Or like a hit.
Ah, like an elbow hit.
Yes. That's it. If I choose to lock it, that's okay. Or if that's it. Or if I choose to hit.
And now you would grab an elbow.
Yes. So if it's more like a controlling environment, do that. Or if it's more like a
bam. That could be a disarm also.
Yeah, sure. So this is a little bit like a framework where we can do a lot of things.
Even talk.
Even talk. Chewing gum is going to be next lesson. But we can do stuff to distract from here. I can start to make it tricky for you to see what's going on. It's a little bit like a game where I try to see how I can distract you and then set you up for applications. Or I try to defend from your distractions, so I'm not getting distracted too easily. And then we can do.
So this is just the basic Hubad drill is something you can add things to kind of spice it up with different kinds.
I need to make a little bit fun of this guy now, because if you say Hubad, means get naked.
What?
And that's not going to happen on this class. So you need to say Hubad.
Who would?
Who would, yes.
Okay.
Who buddies get naked. So that's totally different club. You're on the wrong place.
I was looking online, all the Americans in their YouTube videos.
I know. Yeah. But again, I heard that from a Filipino lady who told me this.
Maybe.
So, so I'm not sure if they depend on dialects and stuff. So I'm trying to say hubud as much as possible.
Hubud.
Yeah.
Okay, hubud.
Yeah.
So, but it's like a basic framework that you can add things to and play around with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the whole idea with it.
So what would you say is the main benefit of having flow drills instead of just doing one drill, take you down and finish you off?
That's okay if you have that skill to do the technique, but the way I see how learning is, the progression of learning is 5 stages.
Okay.
Where I see it. So the first is primitive, like when you see a baby start to walk, it's very focused on just putting one foot in front of the other. And when we start to do martial arts, we all have been looking like that.
Yeah.
So just to get that going, we call that the primitive stage. And even if you don't want to be there, you need to pass it. And then when you can put one foot in front of the other, we start to call it a technique. And a technique is good. Okay, I can put my foot here, do this with my hand, and that hand is supporting. Now it's a technique. But we still don't have the timing or the power generation completely. So I call that the mechanical stage. So when I got that technique, okay, we should have more hip, or we should have more stance, or we should have more shoulders or less shoulders. So if you don't go through those mechanics, the technique might not be functional at all.
Right.
And then you want to have the speed, the timing and everything, and that can only be learned in the flow stage.
And that's the 4th stage?
Yes,
okay.
That's the 4th stage. Because if I'm always in a line doing this without an opponent, I'm not going to gain flow. I need to jump around a little bit. Okay, when it's coming, and when can I time my technique together? So I need to be in that flow, or the zone as some people call it.
Yeah.
And then later on, I don't know, did it work on you because you have experience, so that technique didn't work, so maybe I need to do something different before I can do the technique, and we call that the creative stage. So I have to figure out how to make it work on you, or how not to make it work on me.
Yeah.
So I have to be creative, and that's only by experience.
Okay.
So you can do techniques all day, but if you don't know the time to do them without the flow or the creativeness to make them happen, might not be good enough.
No. Exactly.
So I like to see it like that. So I like to train myself like that. I like to teach like that to make sure. So the drill is, like I said before, if you only do the drill without understanding the mechanics, you can do many techniques without power and you can never do them. Yeah. So you need the flow to be fast, but also creative to see when we can play with it. So if we have this flow here now, okay, we can do this all day. We'll be good fighters, not necessarily. Right. It's just a drill. Yeah. So how can we fight with it? Yeah. And stuff like that. Yeah. So if I'm here with my stick and you're trying to hit me, okay, now that's my application. Right. Yeah. But of course I need the timing, and I can't just be here and wait for it, but I have to have that reflex to make that happen.
And you get a lot of repetition with these flow drills. Yes. So you don't even have to think about it. It's automatic. Yeah. When you see this, you just react. Yes. Yeah.
So that's what I like with it. But it's covering a few attacks, but it doesn't cover all attacks. I can't use hubud against everything.
But are there different kinds of hubud? Or are they all based on this same idea?
No, when you talk about the drill, you create your framework first. So first you make it. So we can get together and we can do all these repetitions, and maybe we are in the mechanical stage. So I'm telling you, okay, you need to control that stick. You need to have a little energy here, so you take over the structure. Now your structure is there, my structure is there, so it means I can fight you, but you need to adjust. I'm a little bit ahead of the game in that particular moment. So now we're working on mechanics and timing. But later on, when I've been doing this for 1,000 times, it won't be that easy for me to hit you here now, so maybe I have to adjust it, so I'm hitting your hand instead, because you're blocking my forearm every time. So I have to be a little bit creative, or maybe I need to distract you by doing something else, or maybe I'll do that one, and now you're off balance because I was creative and changed something up. Okay. So it depends on what stage you are in the learning, how much we do with it.
Okay, but this specific drill, this is hubud.
Yes.
Yeah, in its basic form.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, cool.
There's a lot of variations.
Yeah.
Ready for empty hand?
Let's try.
Yes. It's going to be 100% easy now.
Okay.
So we stay with a hammer fist.
Oh, same idea?
Yes, same idea. And we're going to be doing that.
1, 2.
So this is probably what you've been doing in your karate, maybe with different attacks, I don't know, but similar.
Yep. We did a straight punch.
Okay, that's okay too.
Yeah.
But it works better because if this is a little bit narrow, if it's how can I say, if it's wide, sometimes if you throw it wide, sometimes it's better to bring it down.
Right.
If it's a little bit more narrow, it's going to be easier to parry it. Again, depends on the energy and the weapon of attack.
So you could do the hobot even from a hook?
Yes.
Okay.
If I'm aware how to structure myself. If you're a heavy guy and I don't have enough to cover this one, I might eat that hook.
Sure.
So maybe I need to adjust a little bit and then pass.
Yeah.
So I can't just rely on the drill to deal with your punch.
Right.
But theoretically, yes.
Yeah.
And we just call that 4 corners. We normally start by doing big swinging.
Okay.
So we normally start by being here.
Right.
And now we're fair, but I have to adjust my footwork a little bit. So I'll maybe move away from the line of power there to be able to deal with it. But then that's one energy, and then here it's another energy. Yeah. So we want to deal with all of them.
Do you also do the lower corner?
Yes.
Okay.
So now we have 4 corners. So you hit me here.
With a hammer.
Now we do a cowboy swing.
Yeah.
So I do that one here. You come with the other one because that's one. Yes. So now I'm doing the high, the low ones. I'm down there. Okay. So this is what we referred to as 4 corners before. So I go high, pass and check. Other side, high, pass and check. Low, pass, check. Low, pass, check. So that high against my right, high against my left. And you just go,
This way?
No, check it the same, like you said before.
This way?
Yes.
And then I punch you?
Yeah.
Okay.
For example. And I punch you back.
Oh, okay. Now we can start playing.
Yes, now we can start playing. So it's not like fighting, but we can go different angles and we have to react high or low.
Yeah, interesting. Can I switch it up?
Yes.
Okay.
But now we normally go a little bit closer.
Right, yeah.
So we can be here now and maybe we speed it up a little bit and we don't think so much about form. And suddenly I can change the energy. And now you have to react to that.
1, 2, 3.
And you can choose if you want to go heavy and powerful.
1, 2, yeah.
Or you can choose if you want to go a little bit narrow and faster. So you can play with energies there.
Yeah. Wow. This is a very valuable exercise, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool,
just from this short introduction.
All right.
I'm going to start teaching this to all my students. I'm stealing
First,
this.
yeah, sure. That's the thing with knowledge. When you give it away, you can't take it back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, you can if you knock them out. But it starts to be a little bit fun because even though it's a fixed framework, but you can play with the energy and sometimes now we're breaking it a little bit.
Yes.
But in the beginning, we cooperate to make it work for everybody, and then when we have made it, we can start to breaking it. And big swinging could be one of them.
When you do the classic hubud, do you switch sides somehow?
Yes.
How would that look?
You ready?
Yeah.
It will look like that.
Okay.
And if you could choose, you will block.
This way?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Tips from a coach.
Right.
So we have a drill. I will roll this elbow and you block that. Yes. So. And there I will switch to the left.
I go this way.
Yes.
Okay.
So now we're striking with the left, and I will roll that, and you will block that
with this hand.
Yes, because this hand is busy.
Yeah, right.
So you have to be there. And I'm controlling it.
Switch.
So I will roll, strike, pull, punch.
Okay.
So you roll, roll, strike,
chop,
pull, punch. That's it.
Wow. Okay. I've never seen that one.
All right. But like I said before, everything is a strike, stab, or slash. So you can look at it as a switch. But normally the application is I'm trying to hit you in the face.
Yeah. So that comes after the block, right?
Yes. So I'm rolling here. and hit.
Bam.
So out of a training and drill perspective, I give it away so you can block.
Yeah.
And later on, when we're both educated, you try to set them up so that's where you want to go. But you can't do that in the beginning. You need to play with it to start to see, feel, and then have a capability of reacting.
1, 2, 3.
That's it. There you go.
And now I pull.
Pull, yeah.
I grab and I pull.
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Okay, I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I got it. Ah! I did a mistake. I pushed this way.
Yes.
And
that's why I'm doing that.
you slashed me.
Yes.
Right. I did it again. Now this is correct.
There you go. Yeah.
Now you can't slash.
Because you're going to feel. Of course, I can move, but you're going to feel it in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, same idea.
So what happened there?
I don't know. But you have a good reflex because we always say that who's punching? The one who can.
Okay.
That's the main idea. Oh, I did it before you.
You're too fast.
You go. That's it. There you go.
So do you prefer to attack with an open or a closed hand?
I normally teach hammer fist first.
Okay.
Especially for lighter people, because a cross is good, jab is good as well. But out of my perspective, nobody's functional with a jab before the first year.
Right. This is maybe safer for beginners.
It is safer. Mike Tyson broke his own hand when he was punching in the street. You heard about that one?
No.
So many years ago.
Yeah.
But when you don't take the wraps off and the gloves off, it's not necessarily that the guy who's punching is the safest.
Right.
So it's always a risk.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk about law, moral, and ethics, but if you punch somebody in the face, you might get teeth in here as well. So that's very infectious.
Right.
And it's also not good when you're talking to a police officer to have bruises here.
Or teeth.
Whose tooth is that? So, but again, I would say you generate more power with less training with hammer fists.
Like a natural motion.
Yes.
Throwing motion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I said, we worked with a team of handball girls.
Yeah.
And we've never been doing martial arts anytime, but we have a type pads and told them throw the ball. And they can hit really, really hard because they have all the mechanics from the handball. Yeah. So you can just interpret their skill already into our setting.
So how about something very important in karate is blocking?
Yeah.
How do you think about blocks? Like we have these strict, rigid blocks.
Yeah.
What are the blocks of Kali?
The one you get hurt, if I can. So I like to say it if I'm early on, which we normally isn't in self-defense because you're normally number 2. If you attack me, I'm number 2 because you started it. But whenever we can, we try to make that attack is a threat, but it's also a possibility. So, but you already know this.
What do you mean?
Now I already told you. So when I'm blocking here, I can hit you at the same time if I can.
Yeah.
It doesn't look that much, but this could be my initial. Okay, I blocked it and now I'm in that move. Or I blocked it and I got your hand so I can attack it. Will that work all the time? No, it won't. But when we can block and hit at the same time, we're very happy. Some Kali styles are almost like overdoing it because they say they never block. In a way that's good to say. Out of a practical perspective, I think it's hard to create all the time. But the same in karate and boxing, if you can punch first, you're going to take the point or you're going to win the fight. If you punch first, of course. And if you can punch while the other one is punching and you're there first, it's a winning concept. But it's a lot of experience, a lot of timing and a lot of skills. Is that an answer to your question or did I lose the track there?
No, that's
you're
excellent.
right. So if you can block, so we have something called gunting. Gunting, yes.
Okay.
It's kind of limb destruction. So when we get this is one gunting that I can hit that with my elbow while dealing with it. So that could be defensive, working from there.
Okay.
It could be like I'm cutting it through.
Yes.
Or it could be like I'm trying to hit your muscles while doing it. Doesn't make sense maybe so much empty-handed, but if I have my cell phone there, so if I can do that with my cell phone while doing my block, that will be good. Yeah.
And I can feel it right there. You hit right where the bicep kind of splits from the bone.
Yes.
It's like a pressure point, basically.
You try to. But again, it's not got except that the fight is over. If I can distract you for a little while and can then move on, I'm happy. And I think that's a big misunderstanding, because we have a lot of good things, like I can do that, I can do it from the outside, or I can try to nail your fist.
Okay.
And it might be very good, but we don't count that it will work. So we're always ready to move on.
It's like a bonus. Instead of just blocking, why not block and attack at the same time?
So when you can. So we do it, that's why all these moves, that's the meaning of them. Okay, I do my inside elbow, I can do like an outside elbow, or I combine them together like we did with the sticks. So you try to do inside and outside.
Okay, inside and outside.
Yes, that's it. And if you do that, of course, the arm going to be a little bit softer.
Sure, exactly. So
then you can go for applications from there.
So would you move into any kinds of takedowns or joint locks or chokes or stuff after you do the punching and
maybe?
Yeah, okay. Because you want to get even closer to each other.
Yes. How can I say this? It so much depends on the situation. And that's one thing that we struggle with, my jiu-jitsu instructor and I, when we started with Kali, because we work a lot with different ranges, just like we've been doing now. With the sticks, we were pretty far. One stick, we were kind of closer. Empty-handed, we're even closer. We want to be able to work with all ranges. But your style normally have a little bit like a main objective. So when we started with Kali, and every time we did something, okay, you can do some finishes now. A jiu-jitsu guy always wants to go here.
Exactly.
So I can throw you, or I can lock you up, or I can do something there. And that might be very good, but it might be very bad. So if so we do a lot of follow-ups, but we have like 6 blocks.
6 blocks?
Fundamental blocks.
Okay.
So the first block is double stick, where we try to do patterns, generate speed and power, understand that. Second block, we work with one stick, and the stick is not always a stick. It could be an umbrella or a bag to cover up. Now it's more blocking. If it's more a striking object, we would like to be able to strike with that. And then you want to understand the ranges. Do I want to be here now because I want to keep you away? Because maybe I'm a smaller person or have a disadvantage. I would like to fend you off.
Sure.
If I'm the heavier guy, I might want to do something here. But if you're the heavier guy, that might not be the smartest. If you have a friend over there, do I want to commit myself by holding and doing stuff like this while the other friend can punch? Probably not. So it's a long answer to your question there, but you should have that awareness. What's functional right now? Just like even though I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, it's not always the best to lock people up on the floor out of a self-defense perspective. So we work with all ranges and I try to educate people to be able to choose. Should I stay? Should I keep them away? Do I need to finish right here, or do I need to control them? So
could we look at one basic takedown from Kali?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Maybe something from Hubud, is that possible?
Yeah, we could do basic, but kind of common. If I've been here, I can do that one there.
Whoa! That was insane! And the movements you did before were classical karate movements.
It is.
Immediately when you did that, I thought, that's karate. And then you took me down.
Okay.
Okay, let's have a look.
So I did the inside out to tenderize the arm a little bit. I have to be a little bit careful when I let go, because here you have an elbow opportunity.
But you just broke it anyway.
Yeah, I want to be here.
Bam!
Hit. And then it can be from over there. Of course, if I can do other stuff on my way there.
Right. Wow. Okay, let's try one more.
Yeah. So we are in the framework. Hit. Normally I would push that one a little bit.
With the shoulder?
Yes.
Okay.
So because I don't want to be there, like I said. So if I can push it a little bit, hit, and then I can stay here. Shorter person, help a little bit.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And then we're
And do you like to finish the opponent when they're on the ground?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And again, I'm not talking moral ethics, I'm teaching the art now.
Yeah.
But if you bring somebody down and you don't want them to chase you, or if there's more, you kind of need to be over and done with.
Yeah.
But yeah, people have different opinions about that, but that's part of the art.
Yeah. So how about, let's talk some power generation.
Yeah.
How do you get power in your techniques? Because I've spoken to many karate masters, even kung fu masters.
Yeah.
Some people say the power comes from the floor. Other people say power comes from your hips. Other people say it comes from your center. What is or the Kali explanation? Or how would you teach somebody to generate?
Yeah, I would say speed is power, sort of, but not only, because most of the time you do techniques, you choose if you want to be super fast, you're not going to be that powerful. And if you're too powerful, you will be too slow.
Right.
So I would like to, when you generate speed in a stick, you generate a lot of power. But you have to understand also that if I'm doing quick techniques, there won't be enough power there for knockout. But I like to look at it as when you're throwing something.
Okay.
So, for example, like we did with those handball girls there, okay?
Yeah.
If you think or imagine how you would throw that handball into the net, and then you start to watch the mechanics in your body, which you already know in a way. But I just had this with a class I did on Saturday, because I just felt I didn't have a connection. So I just told everybody, okay, now you've been doing this and you've been doing that and you've been doing this. I would like to everybody imagine you throwing a ball into the wall as hard as you can. Everybody was lining up like this.
Right.
There was not one who didn't line up like this.
Okay.
So when you say that, whatever, that's a hammer fist, or you do that with a cross, or you do that with an elbow, you're going to generate the same moves in the hip, the shoulders, and you want it here, because as soon as the foot is not there, you will lose that energy. So yes, all those things are true, like you said, that people are saying this.
Yes.
They are all there.
Exactly.
My methodology is throw that ball into the wall, and you're going to be good.
So it's like a natural motion.
Yes.
Because everybody knows how to throw.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you just repurpose that movement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's brilliant.
So I kind of like that. And, like I said, it's a long time ago we did that team with handball girls, but we had the reference already. Okay, let's utilize that. So that's why I like to say, well, look for commonalities. Oh, that's a useful skill. Put it in this setting and you're going to be good.
So how about, we're going to wrap this up soon, okay? But do you do any body conditioning? Like we do a lot in karate, how to condition your bones.
Yeah, I've done that part too.
Yeah.
Not so much these days.
Okay.
I would say the conditioning is with the sticks. So, and it's a little bit also based on how much time you have for practice.
Okay.
I would say instead of a heavy bag, when I was competing, I was hitting tires all day long.
Okay.
Or every day, one way or another, because you want to have that Popeye forearm.
Yeah.
Because you want to control your weapon, so you can't lose your weapon. You lose your weapon, you lose your fight. So you want to have that Popeye grip, sort of.
Yeah.
So hitting tires, but also when doing sinawales, when you're doing this.
Sinawale is
double sticks.
Double sticks. Yes.
All right, so we'll try to wrap it up with doing some blade stuff.
Yeah.
With the same principle, because I like to have one principle and many applications.
Yeah.
So we'll take one knife each. We're going to do knife to knife first. And
which one? Does it matter?
You can choose for now. Yeah. Right. Won't be that often. And since we've been working with a hammer fist, we're going to do what we call earth grip, points to earth. But of course it could be different grips as well. But right now we'll do this one.
Should I have the sharp part towards me or you?
And the very common answer when I'm teaching is yes.
I like that.
But again, this one is double-edged. People overthink this in the beginning. So, but if you just give me like a hammer fist, of course, if I'm slashing here, I can slash there.
Right.
I'm gonna steal this one. So, if I'm looking for slashing in front of me, the blade should be there. But it can also be like I'm on a hook and work with the blade, more like a shaving action. Yeah. So, but. For now, here. Yes. And I'm not allowed to give you a knife back, so we have to do like that. Okay. So you don't want to have a reflex of handing over weapons, so that's why we do that. Yes. All right. So that's your hammer fist, and I'm going to do the same basic like this. So I hook it. Yes. So that can be done in many different ways now. But first, I want to have my forearm. I don't want to have any soft tissue there, so I want to have the bone of my forearm like a block.
Yeah.
Again, right now I'm working with my forearm.
Yeah.
And then I'm here. And now I don't want to be there. I don't want to be slidable.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's why I'm here now.
Yes. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Forearm.
Yes. And again, the basic of the format of a drill is one way. Later on, it could be like I'm checking here, so I have this one in a different setting, push it off a little bit. Basic format is here. And now we can start to do what we just did.
Right.
And of course, that would be a disarm. Before it was just a strike. But now that would be like very equivalent to a disarm.
Yeah. I forgot the first part.
So some things, but now this one is kind of risky if I don't know where this one is. So empty-handed, this one looked very cool.
Yeah.
If I do a mistake there, I don't want to be there. So now I have to consider a few more things while rotating there.
Uh-huh.
So that's normally don't teach that. That's quick, but now I have to be
you're checking
over here. And of course, I don't want to be there
exactly.
either.
Yeah.
So it makes sense empty-handed to be able to switch if I want to go for different corners.
Yes.
When you have a weapon, you want to have the weapon side, the strong side, and have that understanding. So most of the time, I want to have that distance to the blade as much as possible.
Yes.
And then, of course, don't make it complicated if not necessary, but this would be a good enough disarm. I would be happy there. But it can also be done like I'm popping that.
Yeah, exactly.
For example, could be done like that. Or if I want to make it complicated, we can do other stuff, but that's risky for my fingers. Might look cool on the videos, but it's a little bit risky for fingers.
Yeah.
So there are options there. So this is good enough.
Yeah.
But part of the art you can do, we call it shaving.
Oh, sorry.
But it can also be like I'm trying to be as close as possible so I can grab it out of your hand.
Okay.
Everybody want to learn that.
Okay.
I don't know why, but
it looks cool.
I'm happy with this one.
Can I try the shape?
The complicated one? Yeah, you're like everybody else.
Okay, so I'll go from here and now I scoop it around.
Yes.
And
you want to have a good hook.
I hook this and I pull it in, and then this I push or I pull.
You're going from the inside there. So of course you want to work on that, but I can't be stabbing my own fingers. So I'm doing this hook, and then I want to be as close as possible to the handle there.
Okay.
So I can slide it out there. So it's gambling of doing those, but they are part of the art.
I hook, I pull, and I somehow grab it.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm like, I prefer this one. Yeah. Faster.
Better safe than sorry. And then you can start to do change-ups and stuff like that.
You killed me thrice.
Yes. That's Kali. One is not enough. You might come back and roasting is Halloween soon, so I can't just kill you once. I have to be a couple of times.
Wow.
Halloween edition.
Yep.
But that's... So every technique can be countered. So this is my counter to your stab, and that might be a counter there. Yeah. And then you're blocking, which is a problem for me, but that can also be countered.
Oh, and then I have to counter your counter.
Yes.
How would I counter that?
Yes.
Then you did this.
No. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
So that could be one option. That'd be another one.
Right.
Try to monitor that elbow.
Yes. Interesting.
Or do it again. Or I'm trying to do this on there.
Wow.
So it depends on the energy and where I meet your energy.
Yeah. This idea of staying connected with your opponent, this adhesiveness, is something that is very important in traditional karate.
Yes.
Do you have any specific exercises just to develop this kinesthetic?
Yeah, we do that here sort of quite a lot.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of others, but they are I don't have a reference, so it would be confusing to do them.
Yeah.
But just by starting here, I can of course choose to have that reference here.
Yep.
I can start to choose to be that reference here. And if we just switch your grip for now.
Yep.
This is a bit advanced in a way, but like I just said, here I in this particular moment, I'm not talking about seconds here, but in this particular moment you can't access me with a knife.
Right.
But of course you can step in or you can clear this hand, but in this particular moment.
Yeah.
So if you just point this knife at me, and I can replace this hand maybe with an elbow. So if I'm moving now, you just stay there, and when now you stay. Yep. So you just point the knife at me. So if I'm going here now, you can basically stab me.
Yeah.
So even if it was kind of good out here, it's not good enough here.
Right.
So I had to transit that point. So now it changed.
Yeah.
And we have some very advanced exercises later on, but I want to feel where I can monitor the blade temporarily while doing other stuff. So we do work with things like that, how I can monitor it in that particular moment. And of course I need to do other stuff meanwhile, because you won't stay there more than a short moment.
Yeah.
But we have some exercises around that. And I would say when we're doing this hubud, back to drill again, sometimes I'm doing it like that.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm doing it like that. And sometimes I see where you're not doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we learn stuff like it in the drill there. So as soon as you let go of that monitoring, because I don't want you to feel that you can do it anytime if I can do that. But now we're drilling, so we are a little bit cooperative.
Yes.
But out of the application base, I don't want it to be in it at all.
Yeah, yeah. What about, do you incorporate any kicks?
Yeah.
Yeah. How could that look?
Depends on where the distance. But we call something a sikaram. That's like kickboxing, but it's different in that way because kickboxing is designed for competition. Of course, you can defend yourself for kickboxing. A good kickboxer can fight for sure. But we do kick with shoes. We're allowed to kick on the knees. So if I want a smaller person to defend against a bigger person, we will kick a little bit different. And you won't take power for getting one back, not if you're 20 kilos lighter. So you have to be a little bit clever there. So we focus more on not being away from the line of power.
Sure.
And in Thai boxing, you can have the weight categories, so you can do block, and you're also conditioned for it. When you're not conditioned for blocks with the legs, you shouldn't do that out of a certain perspective.
But so you're not doing the spinning back kicks like we see in karate?
No, not much. No. So if you just drop a knife for a little while. So if you keep a hubble for a framework now, but of course if I want to step away and do that, maybe I would, but inside this framework it would be more short range kicking to the knees and stuff.
Nice.
So I'll try to get out of that line, so I don't sacrifice my balance. When you're on balance, I'll try to get a little bit off, and maybe that's my kick. Or if I feel that you're so good, so every time I roll you block it, I'm not happy with that. I hate that.
Okay.
I guess you do too. So maybe I kick you first and then I roll. So I distract you. I take the focus down so I can do something high, which is what everybody's doing. Yeah. If you want to box a boxer in the face, you do body shots first, so the guard goes down and now we hit them in the face, or vice versa. Yeah. So that will be the same thing here.
Would you say this is the classic Kali kick?
Yeah, we call it Sipa. We do all our kicks as well, and I talk a lot about how a smaller opponent can hit bigger. So if I'm struggling to do what we just did before because you're tall, so I can't get my head up here, I have to do something to ruin the structure, so I can make that happen again. So I really like the short and kind of little sneaky kicks with the knees or the shoes, and it's the same thing as well. Even though I love low kicks and roundhouse, but when you're 20 or 30 kilos lighter, it won't do the job. Because I won't be good enough. But if I do that with a shoe on the knee, it will be a different outcome.
Sure.
And again, nothing is for granted.
Exactly. Yeah. How about the classic side kick? Is that something you use?
Yeah, not that much.
No,
we do that.
Okay.
But we want people to think that you're having a shoe. So you kick with a shoe. So you kick a little bit different from there.
So you don't think a side kick through the knee would be?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay,
sure.
okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because that's something we see in many traditional karate kata.
Yeah.
Where you kick with this that kind of stomping side kick.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah, no, we use it, and I like it. But everything is about the setup.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if you don't do the right setup, it's going to be tricky. But I kind of really like to be here and just keep somebody away. Maybe it's not going to be like a snappy.
No.
But I kind of like to just keep them away so I can stay in distance. Kind of like that one. Or when you just kick on the shin. But I really like the toe kick with a shoe, because now I don't need to be that educated.
Exactly.
To deliver a powerful roundhouse, you need to have education and experience.
Yeah.
This one anybody can do with a shoe.
Yeah.
But like I said, we have 6 blocks. So we have a double stick with a coordination.
Right.
And that transfers over to empty hand like we did with a hubad. We call that cadena di mano.
Okay.
And then we have a punching aspect. We call it panatukan. And our reference to the panatukan is from here, basically. So even if it looks stupid, why would it punch me when I'm here? But I'm learning the skills about stabbing, slashing, and punching. So our boxing reference is from this kind of move.
Okay.
So when we do this, that's equivalent to an elbow.
Right.
Okay, that would be my hammer fist.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be my jab. So we have a lot of references to this, which might look like overkill, but we're learning how to move our hands and stuff from that.
Yeah, I like that principle. It feels very useful.
Yeah?
Yeah, because you can repurpose each and every movement with different weapons or without the weapons.
Yes.
It's smart.
Yeah. So in the hubad, later on, I want to be able to understand when can I have my knife reference.
Ah, okay.
Because now I'm stabbing.
Yeah.
So that might be a reference.
Yeah.
Okay, now maybe I want to have that boxing.
Ooh. Yeah.
So how can I switch over to boxing? Because I will not box with too close. So
right.
It will not be good boxing there.
Yeah.
But if I have what I said, cadena di mano, okay, the elbow game might be here because I'm on that range.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm feeling you too powerful. I can't afford to stay here, so I have to use kicking range and stay away from you. And now we're doing what we call sit around.
Okay.
So there can be another way of, okay, do I want to stay here, or how do I get out here, or how do I win in this environment?
Yeah.
And
that's very impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Because you're applying these different toolboxes.
Yes.
And then just adding them here depending on who you're facing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the format is like, or the framework is for now, hubad or cadena di mano range.
Exactly.
But from there you want to be able to crash in like a takedown, or stay away because it's not your best strategy for that moment.
Yeah. Would you say there's any philosophy attached to Kali or the Filipino martial arts?
Rule number 1, don't get hit.
Okay. Is that the philosophy?
That's the philosophy.
That's deep.
It's very deep. But there are a lot of things like that, but also a little bit strategies. People talk about knife and everything. So out of a knife defense perspective, you always hear people say, we always have the best strategy in the world to run away. Yeah. And that's nice to say, but it's not applicable. If you have a family, if you have a limp, or if you don't have the right shoes, you can't run away. But we say that the number 1 strategy is if I can leave in a safe way.
Yeah.
So leaving in a safe way, maybe I can get behind the table, maybe I can get into the car, or stuff like that. So running is not leaving in a safe way.
Sure.
Might be valid if you're fast and the situation gives that, but leaving in a safe way. Secondly, we would like to equalize the odds. So that's why, okay, out of a knife perspective, can I fend myself off, taking a chair or have something to swing so I don't have to engage with a knife? So that's the second strategy there. Out of a self-defense perspective, you want to equalize the odds because it won't be weight categories. In kickboxing, we have weight categories. Sure. So how can I equalize the odds? Can I utilize my cell phone? Can I utilize my shoes? Or how can I equalize the odds against a bigger or better or stronger opponent? So that's the second. And thirdly, okay, if you don't have those, okay, now I need to do my Kali, my hubad valid, or my punching skills good enough and stuff like that. But those are the 3 strategies I like to see out of a self-defense perspective.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Good. Should we continue with any more of the blades, or is that it?
Depends on if you want to do some double blades, if you want to learn how to go to jail quicker.
Yes, that's good. We can end on that.
We can end on that, yes. So so this again, this is a little bit like overkill sort of. But against a punch, we have moves where we do stuff like that. So it doesn't make sense to see you punching against this.
Right.
So maybe you have to hide it or not show that, or this might be a ball pen instead.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So but this is the art now. Otherwise you just go to jail quicker.
So I would never attack you if I saw you.
No, exactly. That's why you need to hide them.
Well, I can't even see them now. Look at that.
So again, and then you do your moves. And what I'm doing now, we not have time for that, but we do this with double sticks as well. We do this empty hand as well. But the punch is there, so rule number 1.
Get away. Don't get hit.
Don't get hit, I'm just testing you now. To make sure you're right, that will be your first move. And then you try to disembark the arm there.
Gunting.
Yes, that's gunting. So that might be good enough.
Yeah.
If I'm a smaller person, I will probably just do that and stay away.
Yeah.
If I want to go to jail, I slash your arm first, slash your throat, and then I kill you again. So now let's make sure I go to jail quicker.
I love that.
Don't try this at home.
Definitely not.
So 1, 2, 3. And the reason we do number 4 because you might stop this one.
Yeah.
So now we use the skills like we did before there, and then we're going there.
So let's say I would be facing you with those knives. I would want to try to grapple because out here, I don't know what happens. I would gotta go in and control you, maybe to try to take you down.
You forgot about strategy number 1.
Don't get hurt.
Leave in a safe way.
Right, leave in a safe way.
Yeah. Number 2, you grab one of those sticks.
Right.
Because you don't engage.
Equalize.
Because even when you grab, yes, you're still vulnerable. So of course you can grab if you know how to grab properly. But if I'm just a little bit stronger, you're still in trouble.
Yes.
And then if you grab with both hands to be strong enough, you're both busy and this one is not. So there's a lot of things into it. So I don't say grapple is wrong.
No.
But you don't, when you do it at the right time, the right moment, of course you want to get those hands together, but I would prefer that you get the stick and keep me away when possible.
Yeah.
You want to try the go to jail stuff?
Yes. Should I get my own?
You can do that.
Yeah.
So we'll just do it simultaneously now, so I have a right lead. So first it's like a parry, but I do that with the blade, move the head away. Second one is almost like a back fist. So it's parry, back fist, another back fist with the right, and then like a big swing or hook with the left there. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. One more. So parry, back fist, and swing through.
Parry, stab.
Yeah.
Stab, slash.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
You also do the double knives against double knives.
Could do that as well. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing it right.
Parry, stab. And now this controls.
Could be, yes.
Stab, slash.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And you would do this super fast.
Yes.
Yeah. I was missed that.
That's it. So the next step is to learn how to do that with ships, because you're going to go to jail and need to defend yourself in jail as well.
Right. Yep. So would I do this? Let's say you punch with the other hand. Could I use the same movement?
Yes, you can, but you normally adjust it a little bit.
Okay.
Normally, but yes, you punch with the left there. The only difference is it's going to be in the triceps instead of the biceps.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Doesn't change that much.
No.
So empty-handed we do the same.
Okay.
So I have that mindset now, but I'm going to do that with my empty hands now. So I'm doing that. I don't know what this is.
Right.
So that could be a back fist to the biceps. It could be that I'm just being over there, but it could also be that I'm distracting you to set you up for the big punch.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what we did. Yes.
That's cool because this is a classic karate movement.
Yes.
The explanation I got for this movement was that it's dark outside and you can't see your opponent, so you need to search for him. But I think this is more practical.
Yeah, I would say so. But the thing is, I don't want to think.
Right.
So whatever this hand is doing, if I'm controlling you there, if I'm stabbing you to the throat, or if I'm just get that flinch, because that's a good reaction that I can utilize, so we don't care. And if I miss the second one, okay, I might be over there. But I'm just going to get these hands going no matter what. And follow up with it.
Would you do the same if I punch with this?
Yes.
Yeah.
The only difference is we talk about distances.
Yes.
So if I'm straight in front of the center line, do the right hand first. I'll do. So from here, center line, I'll probably do a cross with my left.
Yeah.
If I would be a little bit too close, I would probably do an elbow instead because I'm closer.
Yeah.
If I would be a little bit on the side, there's not enough power there, so I would hit with the arm.
Oh, with the forearm?
Yes, because I'm a little bit off the center line.
Yeah.
That's more valid on that hand.
Okay.
Because now I might be on the center line, or if I'm a little bit off, that would be the forearm. So that might change how I finish the final big shot, depending on where my angle is towards you.
Do you do a lot of forearm strikes?
Yes.
Could you show one more or something?
Yeah, so from the right hand side here, I can be like hitting here.
Okay. With the same arm, you pull.
Yes.
Okay.
So whenever I get that reference, when I'm here, I'm striking.
Wow.
You know, so I'm pull in and hit with the forearm. Yeah.
Like a bicep bump.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are nice. Or when you're here, you just hit with that, but on the neck, of course.
Or up here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But it just look good when you teach. Making body move.
But it's a lot of power, even down here.
Yes.
If I got that in my neck, I would be KO'd.
Yes. Camera ready?
It was hypothetical.
So back to Hubel again.
Yeah. Okay.
So whenever we're here, okay, now I'm here, so I can start doing those things.
Yeah.
So that now a little bit the sensitivity we talked about before, we can utilize them. Or when we are here.
Oh, I block.
Yes. And now we can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I try to get you off my line so I can strike you from the side.
Wow. It's like endless possibilities.
It is. But that's martial arts.
Exactly.
All martial arts have all of those things.
So at least in real martial arts.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now we are creative now, because now you have to have all of that coming out.
Yes.
And you have to do your basic drilling, you have to do your ABCs so much that you don't have or need or want to think about them any longer. But it takes time. Like we can all learn boxing in 15 minutes. It's not that much punching. It's a jab and a cross and a hook and an uppercut in a way.
Yeah.
But it's a minute to learn, a lifetime to master. And I would say that about any martial art.
I think that's a great note to end on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your time, your experience, and your expertise.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.